Hi. Hey, everyone. How are we doing? Eh, Saturday morning. It rained. We're all doing the very best we can. That's huge. I'm going to name just because I have to remind myself and use at hotspots, at Fringe run activities. So something to keep in mind. And that is not to take away censorship, right? It's just to make sure, if anything, we can create that more bold work because you have a safe space to play as an artist and a person. The primary producer is responsible for your entire team. So that's kind of the tiered process down, right? So remember, if you were the primary producer of your project, you are making sure to educate your team about our code of conduct. Because if something were at a Fringe event, a venue, a show, something like that, that would fall on the producer because it is your responsibility to manage your team and their actions. You can find more about our code of conduct at hollywoodfringe.org/conduct. And we highly recommend printing out a copy, sharing it with your team, taking just 20 minutes out of a rehearsal to make sure that everyone comes in to engage correctly. And that way your time at Fringe doesn't come to an end. That's not what we want, and it happens very rarely, but that is the worst case scenario if things go horribly, horribly wrong. So it is behoove everyone to really know that code of conduct. Okay, festival dates. Y'all, they're coming. What happens on May 1st? Tickets go on sale. Hot damn, that's coming up soon. So exciting. June 5th through the 10th, that is our previews. And then, of course, June 11th, our opening night party at the LA LGBT Center. We just announced all of the official details via email. How many people got the participant newsletter yesterday? Okay. These are better numbers than I saw at the last workshop. We're getting there. I love it. Those are going to be so important. All of the information you need to know as a primary producer to fully engage in the community and to fully take advantage of all the opportunity that comes with your registration and participation at the festival is going to be put in those emails. So make sure you're reading those. All right, June 12th to the 29th, that is the official 2025 Hollywood Fringe Festival, our 15-year anniversary. We are officially teenagers up in here, which is very exciting. And after that, June 30th, we have our awards and closing night ceremony right back at the LA LGBT Center. So we're really bookending the beginning and the end, the LA LGBT Center. Okay, some other deadlines that are not necessarily exciting dates like ticket on sale, but the printed guide deadline. You're getting a lot of information about that, I know, right now. So I just want to go over kind of what the next few days are going to look like. The last unformatted proof, so very similar to the one you got in your inbox on April 22nd, will be going out on April 28th. So that is Monday, a little later than we initially said, right? So you have a little extra time, just a few more hours to make sure your guide listing is correct. After that, information will be locked. So that's important to note. This is your time to make sure you're seeing that guide proof tab in your AdMech. Make sure you are happy with how you're listed because there will not be changes after that April. It's April. What month is it? April. Okay, I got it. Thank you. On April 28th, there will be no more changes unless it is our error. That is that proof that is just making sure that because things happen, right? I am human and I'm pulling a giant amount of data from the website, popping it onto a doc and sending it to your inboxes. That is when I need all, eyes from shows looking to make sure that they see their show, they see their performances. So that's the check and balance to make sure we don't miss anything in tech, right? We're all human. After that, again, no more edits after. So make sure, where are we checking? Our guide proof tab? Yes, we are. Please. All right. Upcoming pre-festival event. Yeah, we have one more town hall. Come on in. Town hall number 4, make the most of your Fringe experience. That is going to be similar in vibe to what's happening today, but it'll just be another one where Ellen and I talk at you and give you all of the details that we need you to know for May and June. That is coming up at the Broadwater on Thursday, May 8th. May for real that time. The things that we're going to talk about there is going to be our Fringe Central event. So the things that are happening at Fringe Central at the end of May and then in June, and how exactly awards work. We're going to talk a lot about how to take advantage of award opportunities, how to kind of think about that as a producer. On that next town hall, we're going to talk about the tech of it all, how because things will be open at that point, and we'll talk through how to make sure you're submitting for things and paying attention to the right emails, etc. We'll also talk about our Discover Fringe Industry program. This is for shows that are really looking for that next opportunity. If your show is at Fringe this year and what we call in the industry tour ready. If you are tour ready, you're looking to book at a bigger venue, you're looking to take it on tour, you're looking to do something else, that is a program you are absolutely going to want to take advantage of. You can apply for industry program awards no matter what, but the industry program means special invites to panels and different networking opportunities with industry, trying to put shows in the face of industry that are actively looking to book work. So make sure you keep checking your emails, but that next town hall is going to be a lot about that. And remember, if you've missed something, if this is your first workshop, well, first, welcome. Welcome to the party. We're happy to have you. But check out what you missed. I cannot impress it upon you enough that these workshops really do help kind of put things into perspective and help make sure that you are taking full advantage. So Hollywood Fringe, or at Hollywood Fringe on YouTube, has every workshop that has happened this year, plus 14 years of workshops. So dive in. There's even workshops from 5 years ago are still so valuable because they have artists who have done, and maybe you're going to find an artist who's more similar to your show. And so checking old workshops can still be very, very valuable. Okay, office hours. How many people are coming to office hours? Yes, we love it. Those are going to continue every Wednesday up until previews. So just every Wednesday, join us at a different bar in Hollywood. Right. I think we had 120 participants at the last one, and it's going to just keep growing. So please come engage in your community. You're going to get to know people, which is always fun, right? People who are in your industry, in your network, in your city. But additionally, we talk about the industry program and all of these opportunities. So many opportunities are right in this room. So many people are going to be, the people in the community are going to be the ones who give you that next opportunity or put you on the path to finding that next opportunity. So even more so than the industry program, which is so helpful, it's all right here. Everyone in Hollywood is in the industry. So keep that in mind as you navigate these community spaces. All of those informations. Okay, we're doing fine. All of the information and the schedule and locations for office hours can be found at hollywoodfringe.org/events. Okay, a quick participant resources list, because I want to make sure, again, you're taking advantage of every information, a bit of information that we're providing to help make your experience successful. The participant packet, hollywoodfringe.org/participants. How many people have read that? Okay, we're getting better. I'm liking it. So we still have a few more. You have time. Don't worry. If it's any extra push, there are discounts in there. So it's not just information, which I know can be boring in a 60-page document, but it's helpful if you want to learn how to do discount codes. But there's discounts and different marketing opportunities available to you. So check that out. Additionally, we have a marketing blog that Roddy recently put together that has all of the Fringe Run marketing opportunities. That's Runway, that's Cabaret, that's Fringe TV Lightning Round. These are all free programs that are set up to help you get your show out to audiences. So check that out. We made an easy link, hollywoodfringe.org/artist marketing. Or honestly, just go to the website, hit news, and you'll find that the first 5 articles that come up, all super important, all super helpful. So just click on that news tab. Additionally, we have the portal, support.hollywoodfringe.org. That is going to be all of the articles about all of the things you could possibly want to know, set up into kind of sections. We have sections for artists and audiences and venues. That artist tab is going to be really important for everyone in this room. So make sure to check that out. We also have your emails, your participant emails. I'm going to keep saying it because they are so important right now, especially. That is how we are communicating with the hundreds of shows that are part of the festival. So to make sure that you are truly a part of the festival and not just kind of chilling near the festival, make sure you are checking out those participant emails. A hot tip, save newsletters, plural, newsletters at hollywoodfringe.org in your email as a contact. That way, you're making sure they don't go to spam or the promotions folder. So highly recommend doing that. Also follow us on social at Hollywood Fringe across all platforms. That is a great way to make sure you're also getting that extra reminder. So definitely do that. Also, support at hollywoodfringe.org, your new best Fringe pal. That email is your direct access. The entire team checks it at this time of year because we get a few emails a day, to put it lightly. But mostly Roddy is in that support box, making sure that you have all of your questions answered, because it's okay to have questions. That's why we have that email. So please utilize that resource. Starting May 24th, our Fringe Central opens, which has been newly named Fringe HQ. Fun fact for returning participants. Yeah, we're going a little more rebranding it. We're doing a little glow up. And part of that is because a marketing scheme that we're working on internally to point people towards sections of the Fringe, because it's a big ass area, right? So we're trying a marketing scheme internally where we're pointing audience to go to Central Hollywood for one day, go to East Hollywood for one day, go to West Hollywood for one day. And so Fringe Central gets a little lost in that marketing. So a newly minted Fringe HQ is the artist and audience hub. That is going to be where our box office and merch shop live. So if you want the Fringe t-shirts, the Fringe buttons, all of the physical items, you can come to Fringe HQ. That's also, we have our in-person box office. So that's a nice catch. Sorry, you grabbed that and that was impressive. If anyone watching, a computer dropped and it was caught so brilliantly. Very impressed. That is also going to be where we host a lot of our events. Cabaret is hosted there, our industry mixers, some of our industry panels. So a lot of events happen there. I want to also note, because this was a problem last year, we don't own that space year round. We rent it starting when we open to when we close. So please, please, please do not mail your marketing materials there or show up in the beginning of May. It does happen, which is why I'm saying it, because we won't get it. And then you'll lose all of the money you put toward sending postcards there. So no, we are a remote team. We do not have the money for office space year round. So this is only for end of May, early, and then all of June that we have the space. So it'll be open May 24th through June 28th, Wednesdays through Sunday, 2 to 7 p.m. That will be our in-person space. It will only be closed on Wednesday, June 11th, because we'll be at the opening night party with all of you. So more information, check out hollywoodfringe.org/HQ. And we'll also be dropping the schedule in there when that's available as well. Okay, awards. We are going to talk about this at great length in the next town hall, but I'm going to bring up just a couple of bullet points now because it will help frame our conversation that we're about to have when we jump into awards. We have two kinds of awards at Fringe. Community awards. Those are voted on by your audience, by the community, people that see 3 or more shows at the festival. They get a ballot at the end of the festival and they vote. Every show is included in that first ballot by category. So whatever category you chose, that's how you're voted on in awards. That's also how you're marketed in the guide. So that's where category becomes important. It also includes Best of Fringe. So that's everyone at Fringe or Top of Fringe is the real name. Top of Fringe, everyone is included in that potential win. And then there's Best International for our shows that are joining us from out of the country. There's also a world premiere. So if you haven't checked that box and you're a world premiere show, make sure you do that. That's how we know you're a world premiere and how you end up in that ballot as well. I'm forgetting one. What is another Fringe first? And Fringe, no world premiere. No, okay, that's right. Those are the ones. And then we have our Discover Fringe Industry Program Awards. These are given out by industry partners. So these are partner orgs that we work with, and they present awards within our festival. These are apply only, these awards. So know that when next month, mid-month or so, we will open up applications and shows need to apply for consideration for these awards. We do that because every award is going to be different. Some of the awards are specifically looking for BIPOC work. Some awards are specifically looking for comedies that are under 60 minutes, willing to travel to Australia. Like that isn't that real award, but we have, certain specifications for each award. So when it comes time to do that, make sure you're going through that list and only applying for awards that you actually fit under, because that is important. Okay, I think that is it for me. I am officially done talking. So wonderful panelists, thank you so much for being here. If you could please introduce yourselves with your name, pronouns, a visual description, and then add in a little about your Fringe experience.
Hello, my name is Liza Daly-Thomason. My pronouns are she, her. I am a light-skinned lady in a yellow jumpsuit with curly hair. Did I answer all the questions? Oh, and a little bit about my Fringe experience. Last year was my first year doing Fringe and my first Hollywood Fringe Festival. And it was one woman musical-ish because I had a like band, but it was called Supernova. And big fan of Fringe, changed my life.
That was very impressive how much you said so fast. I'm still like, wow. Hi, I'm Veronica Osorio. Pronouns are all pronouns are fine. I am a light-skinned Latina pregnant woman with pigtails and black overalls and striped pastel tiny polo shirt. So, just exhausted already. And yeah, last year was my very first time doing Hollywood Fringe with my show Medicine Woman. And this year I'm returning, even though I'm going to be 8 months pregnant. So I'm just going to I'm going to be wilding.
Yeah. As you should. I'm Sam Lebreck. My pronouns are she, they. I am a white woman with brown hair, and I'm wearing an orange sweater and bell bottoms. And last year was also my first Hollywood Fringe. And I'm born and raised in LA, and I've done theater since I was a kid in 2020 for some reason. And then I decided to come back to the Hollywood Fringe, through the Hollywood Fringe. So that it was a really coming home moment for sure. So it was really cool to be here and be a part of that. So yeah.
Fun with this mic pass, but we got this. We can do it. Okay, so June is right around the corner. Previews start in just a little over 1 month. So where should new participants be focusing on at this stage of the game? What should be on the to-do list? What should be the main focus of the Fringe journey right now?
I'll start us off. Marketing May. I'm telling this advice because I didn't follow it for my first Fringe. I was definitely one of those people who was still going into tech, like learning her lines. But I would have told my future self to finish all your show stuff so that you can be focusing on going to office hours, so that you can be linking up with other Fringers and renting out spaces in May to preview an hour of your work and be able to workshop that with other Fringers, passing out postcards, going to other people's shows and stuff. Like that was really the month before you open, and it's for workshopping leftover material, but like getting to know other Fringers and enjoying the Fringe experience. And yeah, really focusing on sharing your work. Like you put all this energy into creating a show, and as artists, making friends with the word marketing and showing up at these office hours with hundreds of people you don't know and taking the risk of just being like, hey, this story was important to me. Can you tell me about yours? You know, I actually didn't print any postcards because it was the fifth Fringe I had done in like 5 months. And my budget was tight and I was really stressed. But I just showed up and got as many postcards and shared and got as many like comps from other people's shows that I could. And that ended up being my marketing strategy, just being that girl who was always around supporting other people. And then I was selling out houses without even trying.
Yes, open the half did the ecologic Thailand and then put a lot of turkeys at the they could get the house.
Hi. So I had a bit of a weird experience because I was coming from Brighton Fringe in England. So I missed a big chunk of like the previews and where everyone was mingling. I was watching from afar, but I did manage to go to a few of the earlier like meetings, and I printed my flyers early. And honestly, I just got as much information from other people doing what they were doing as much as possible, and started making my list of the things that I was going to watch early on as soon as I hit the ground, like back in LA. As soon as I landed, I was going to watch as many shows as possible and show face and be like, I'm here. I support you. And please come to my show if you'd like. I also had exhausted my network because I did like 5 work in progress coming into the Fringe. So I didn't know that people were even going to show up. But thankfully, I was enthusiastic enough about my show and confident enough to know that I wanted to show the work, that I think it came through in like how I was talking about it. Because people are like, oh, you're so good at marketing. And I'm like, not. You are good at marketing. I was good at being like, please come. I love this. Like, I love it. I'm going to, yeah. And so like, don't forget to connect to your artist heart and like, know that you're excited to do something. Because that's what comes through. And that's what I think, for me, what pulled people in, because I forgot to print posters. I'm not that person, but I am this other person. So you can lean into your strength. And for me, my strength is like joy in my work.
I know. This would maybe cry.
And I'm like,
I know.
I'm ADD for like.
Yeah. Okay. I have 2 thoughts. So the first one is, okay, yes, marketing. So I do marketing. I'm wearing my little Sam button. My name is Sam. My show was called Sam. It was a solo musical about Hollywood, so it's written in Hollywood font. So pretty easy sell in Hollywood is the first thing I'll say. Sam, exactly, yeah. The exclamation point is silent. So, okay, so with marketing specifically, I will say where we are at literally right now. A year ago, I'm also very extra. So I was shooting a music video for my show. It's a musical that I was going to release on May 1st to announce that tickets were happening. So that was kind of the first thing that I did to launch to my audience. Well, not the first thing, because they knew that the show was happening, but just something to get your audience excited about the show, know that it's happening, and selling tickets like first, just from the get-go. I sold a ton of tickets right on May 1st. That being said, I think the most important thing, like you're saying, you lead with your heart and like your joy, because that's like what makes sense for you. I really enjoy marketing. Like I am a graphics machine, and I did print my posters, my postcards, my business cards, my everything. But I think knowing what makes sense for you is going to be like the number one most important thing. And Ellen and Lois were talking about like, know your show goals. And like, I've taken that with me into my everyday life, because I'm like, what are my goals actually? Like, And that helps me understand what my priorities are. Because I think especially with Fringe, I mean, this festival is facilitated by people who are extremely hard workers, extremely passionate people, and you guys do so much. So if you really want to, yeah, like you can do it all, but it's going to take a lot of work. And so, and budget and money and time and energy. I also raised money before I even started writing my show. So I was coming into this with a budget of money to spend on marketing materials. So that may not be accessible to everybody. And that is totally fine. It is still possible to sell out your shows and win awards if you don't have postcards. So I just want to say that. But yeah, so knowing your show goals, and knowing what your priorities are is going to be number one, because for me, I came into this saying, I'm going to express myself to my community. That was my number one show goal. So that did mean that I was in the community. So it was kind of a running joke. I was at every single event, but I really, really liked it. That was really fun for me. So again, this was my grand return to the theater. So I was like, I'm not alone anymore. There are people here who are just like me, who are so excited to be here. What a beautiful thing. So harnessing that was then how I sold out my show. And then the awards came because of that. But those weren't my goals. It was more about talking to people. Again, my show was an easy sell because it was about being an actor in Hollywood and, making your dreams come true. So also connecting with people who are going to want to see your show and who are your actual audience, last thing I'll say, I've so many thoughts. Last thing I'll say is when you're selling tickets too, the way that it was there's your Fringe audience and then there's your public audience, and they're different audiences. And with your Fringe audience, they're not going to be paying for tickets probably. If they really want to see your show and you're not giving out comps, that's a thing. But that was something that came up for me during the festival last year. It was okay, good to know. There's some people who they are not able to give out comps, which is fine. It's a $25 ticket. I'm going to see their show after Fringe. Or for me, I can afford it to give out Fringe comps. I want Fringers to come see it. So come see it. But I wasn't worried about money. I wasn't trying to make money. So if a show goal of yours is to break even, then you're maybe going to want to go to the public audience where they are going to buy tickets. People who are not in the arts industry, who think it's exciting and want to come see it. So that kind of vibe. Okay, I'm going to pause there. That's so much information.
Well, y'all are such pros that you literally started to touch on every one of my questions. So I love it. We're already on the same page. We're connected. No, it's good. I'd just touched on it. So we'll dive deeper. But I think this is exactly right. And I think goals, we'll talk a lot more about it. But knowing what your goals are will help you make educated decisions that will be in line with what your goals are. So knowing them ahead, it's not figuring them out halfway through June, because then it's too late. You've already made decisions that are all over the board, where if you start to make these decisions right now, you can really start to strategize your goals and have a much better chance of success. And with comps, I want to jump in on that as well, because you're absolutely right. And this comes down to what your goal is. And a lot of participants we see do a lot of comp swaps. I haven't said it right. I always end up with comp swaps. It'll happen. You'll get there. And this is something a lot of producers do intentionally, because you're getting to see shows as well, right? It is kind of, it's a give get. So that is an option. If that's a part of your goal, I want to see as much theater. A lot of producers come in, they're working on a new show. They're also getting to experience a lot of other work, which helps their artistic visions in the future, right? So it depends on what your goals are. But then there's also the participant discounts. You can kind of make your decisions again based on your goal. Let's talk about community, which we've already started to touch on, have for engaging in the community, and why is it worth it? What kind of inspiration can you provide new people to the community? What happened because of connections within the community at Fringe?
I met my boyfriend. No, just to be perfectly authentic, my show was inspired because my brother passed away. My third sibling to die by suicide. And so I'm coming into this festival with huge stakes for me expressing myself, me healing, me connecting with other people who maybe have a shared experience. And so I really just generally led into community, because I actually had 2 other festivals I was doing. So right before June opened, I was the most stressed I've ever been. In New York, I was mid-move. So I'm couch surfing. I was this is the worst way to go into a Fringe festival. So my thing was, instead of doing the things that I perceived difficult, which was marketing at the time, I was like, I just want to meet other like minds. I just want to not be so focused on myself. Hashtag anyone who has Course in Miracles or spiritual tools. But it's like, let me get out of myself because I'm kind of in a funk and I have the show to do and I have deadlines and I have to, guide proofs. And I was in the scholarship committee. So there was other things to do with being in the scholarship. And I just made it about like, I'm so privileged to be around other artists. And I also had like been taking a break from acting. And so to like be back into, I was like, I didn't know this was in the backyard of LA. I had just been putting out to the universe 8 months ago. Like, I want to see more theater. I used to live in New York. Like, where's all the theater in LA? And then I saw like 60 to 70 shows for like free to a very reasonable price, in 1 month. And so I think just starting with the general intention of that was very much my goal. Is it's like I'm healing and I want to meet community and I want to be my full self. And so to show up to Hollywood Fringe and meet other people who were dealing with the same subjects in their stories and being like, and just meeting them immediately, hey, and we're having this conversation and leveling with each other about like the worst moments of our lives, like through art and clown and singing, it was really beautiful. So I just want to express that because there's such a bigger opportunity that can be explored through this festival. And that's meeting friends for life, meeting other creative partners, feeling less alone because you're finally in a room with other people who are self-producing. And so you'll never meet a more generous community in Los Angeles. People are like, it was so hard for me. Let me give you free tools because people helped me along the way. I want to be that person. So I just wanted to preface that. You can meet relationships, you can meet community, you can there's all these other things other than just putting on a show. And that's great too. Share your story.
Well, you said everything. But no, I would say like I come from the clown community. Like, we all like know each other and see each other and are used to going to shows. But the difference between like my regular year doing that and the Fringe was like, I just got to see so many shows that had nothing to do with my regular viewing experience, like monologues of like musicals, just things that are not necessarily specifically people I know, just my network augmented by, I don't know, times 10, just by like going and seeing shows. Same, like comp swaps, so like I'll go see your show, you come see mine. We both don't pay any money, but we're both like connecting. And so now year round now I have like connections with people from the French who are like, I'm following their careers, what they're doing next. They're following mine. It's just like so awesome. And then, yeah, I didn't go to as many events as there were, but I went to as many as I could. And that did make a difference because then I was like, oh my God, your show sounds insane. I want to see it. I'll go Saturday at noon to see your show because it was awesome to just LA full month at any time you can just see a show. That's like honestly dream come true for all of us nerds. So yeah, it was summer camp. And if you can't afford it, like some people have to day jobs, it's okay. But like if you can't afford to like your time, do as much as possible. Honestly, this year I'm excited to do my show again, even though like I did it last year, because I want to connect to as many people as possible before I go into like maternity leave and then come back. Oh, I never mind. Now it's a 2-person show. I've fully included my baby, but because it's important because then I want to follow like some people are going to go to festivals that I'm not going to be able to go to this specific year. And I want to root for them. That's exciting. It's to get outside of myself, my own like, and just be like, oh my God, this person's doing this show. I hope they win. Like I seen the show. It's healing.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, yeah, listening to you guys and like, honestly, I feel like the community was probably my number one thing that I did last year during Fringe. Like, and I'm going to be honest, look, we all have different show goals. Like the actual performance of my show was like it ended up not being like my top priority. And I just want to be so real about that because like the festival, like being in it, yeah, there's a lot going on and there are so many opportunities to meet so many people and do so many things and see so many shows. And I was thinking about it because there were moments where I was like, did I do too much? Like, was I going to too many events? I literally was at every event, like every single one. I know you just got a button today, but Bellbot, yeah. So anyway. And I did have a moment like after Fringe where I was like, damn, like, did I go too far in that direction? Like, I feel like my show maybe suffered for it, like I was solo producing my solo musical that I was performing 9 performances of. So like, that's a huge undertaking. But then as time went on, I was like, when else was I going to experience this? And at the end of the day, I think that's kind of where I've come to like peace with it. Cause I'm like, I'm about to tour my show and I'm going to do it again and it's going to be awesome. And what is my priority going to be now? The show. Like, and wow, what a crazy concept. So, and I guess I just share that with you because I didn't know how the festival was going to be. I had never been a part of a festival before. I had never been part of Fringe before. I had never produced a stage show before. I had never done a solo show before. So I went into it really blind and I was just showing up and just like taking everything as it came. And again, like what really lit me up was being around everybody and was being really jazzed to be here and excited to be here. And like the show still, and I don't mean to be, but like the show did get nominated for awards and it won Best Sub Awards and it did sell out. And like all these great things did still happen. So it's like the show still went great, and I still had a great time. So yeah, and I something else that maybe for community is like that Lois touched on is like, yeah, finding your people, because we're all like not only doing different things in Fringe, but we're all at different points in our careers too. Like I've been doing LA theater for my whole life. So that's going to be very different from someone who's coming in and doing a theater show for the first time. So I don't know, just like finding people that you can connect with on different parts of the festival and different parts of your journey to be able to like have connections in that way is helpful. Also, having non-Fringe people in your life during this time. Both are extremely important because there are things that only your Fringe people are going to get. And there's also going to be people in your real life who could maybe offer you some perspective. Like there were a couple moments where I had people like, hey, people in my life who were like, hey, Sam, maybe sleep tonight. And I was like, fine. Okay, I will. Because honestly, in Fringe, we're all going. We're in it. We're doing it. And, yeah, it totally is a marathon. It's a lot of energy. It's very intense and it feels good. It's fun. Like, I mean, here I am talking about it. I'm so happy to be here. Like I am so happy that I experienced it. So yeah. Okay. That's what I got.
With the community thing, it's like I did Brighton and Edinburgh Fringe and Adelaide Fringe. And Adelaide feels a little more like this, but in general, I think the other festivals do not feel like this one in terms of building community. I think LA people are so thirsty, but for community, but also thirsty. But we're all the same. It's okay, but because we're all like theater dorks trapped in this like film town, and we're all like, it's different. Like Edinburgh is like cutthroat. Brighton is like a little more like, free for all, hippie, and so this place is specifically where we Hollywood Fringe. We're like, all the theater dorks are dorking it out for a full month and it's so intense. And sometimes it's like, shut the fuck up, but to myself, to my own brain being like, but everyone is doing the same and you get it. Like you get it and you see someone like putting the effort and you're like, I see you in me and I'm as thirsty as you. Let's fucking go. Can I say that?
Sorry. Yes, 100%. And I think, yeah, every festival does have a different vibe. And there's, it's so city based, right? Every Fringe festival is built to like not accommodate, but support the city in which it acts in. And so that's why we actually started Fringe. I say collective, I was volunteering at the time, not a part of the co-founders, but the co-founders saw LA and was like, hey, okay, obviously there is industry, everywhere, but there is not a central place where all theater artists are able to come together and know each other and provide support and strength in numbers. And so the reason Hollywood Fringe exists is literally to build community, because theater has always been here, but it's so dispersed. And there's so many different networks within that. There's, the community theaters. There's, like the larger organizational theaters. And then there wasn't that in between. And so Fringe, we take kind of a big part of our mission to be that in between, that pathway from, the student, the community theater into the big organizations like GAFN and CGG and these places that often have gates that are a little harder to push down. So yeah, Fringe community, that is absolutely our goal. in using is the wrong word, in being a part of the community, what are, and we can just kind of do a nod or like, but did you use the connections you made within the community to help you in other ways beyond just like that refill of the cup? Because that's an important one too. But like, did you get box office help at all? Or did you, so box office, did you cross promote? Like, what are the things that are more like actionables within the Fringe community that helped you be a producer because you met them like in news like that?
I hope I'm answering this question correctly. But like, yeah, so there a lingering impact?
Like what did like going to office hours, coming to event help you on the active in June?
Yes. Yes. So cross promotion is really wonderful. So I had a mental health show. And so I went and there was like a ginormous Fringe chat with like bajillion people in it. And I just went through and saw who else had like a mental health or if it was related to grief or trauma or suicide, things like that. And I reached out and then we would kind of like split a little graphic and cross promote or create a story. Here are 5 shows that I'm really excited to see that have to do with like mental health and grief and do that. And then I was getting, I think a lot of people I got from shows too was like other fringers bringing their friends and like their friends really resonating with my show and like still being in touch with those people. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, cross promotion, a big thing that I've carried into this day that has kind of changed my relationship with my career in promoting things is like little cabarets and open mics held by other people. Mark Vigent does Splash House at Clubhouse. Riley Smith and Cole Cuomo do a open mic kind of once a month. And it's like you get up with other fringers, perform 1 or 2 pieces, and then you have these little bits for social media with like an audience reacting to your stuff. And I've noticed, especially some of us who've gone from previous festivals into a festival, is we have all of those things, all of those graphics, all of those sound bites, all of those quotes, all of those little reviews, all of testimonials. We have those from other festivals. And it's the most obvious thing. We live in a technologically advanced world with AI, but I still think as theater goers, sometimes we get so busy wearing so many hats, we forget the most obvious thing of just posting that song as like, and not just as a story, as a reel or little things like that, because that gets people, what? There was an article in Broadway World about Sam. Oh, what? There was a Adelaide, and clip, and I want to see it now because I'm seeing this audience react and what's going on with that. So I just want to use this as a chance to like cross promote and do all these things because they really do help you. Open mics, that was a huge thing. Open mics and cabarets, get on as many as you can to promote bits of your work.
Yeah, I did also cross promote. My show was directed by or co-directed by Natasha Mercado, who had done the Hollywood Fringe in the past. And there was another show co-directed by her or fully directed by her. So we were like, oh, we're the Natasha Mercado people. So like we both like did a share poster and did a promo code for both of our shows. So like if you buy one of ticket for my show, you get discount for the other Natasha show. Yeah, we share an ad. We just split it in half. We paid half the money each, and that was cheaper for us. And there was like a way in, but you can do it with other. If you're a clown, you can do it with other clowns. Like if 2 shows are similar, that's a perfect opportunity to think. It's not like, oh, they're competing with me. It's more like, oh, great. The same audience will likely go to both of our shows. So that's a good one. And then, yeah, I think every time I met a fringer, they came to my show. And if I didn't come to their show, it was either because my show was at the same time or I was like out of town by the time the run ended. But I really did make a point to like come to as many of their shows. And sometimes I was just that one seat that they needed in the house, So that is a power. And then a lot of fringers, like I also got together with all the other Latino fringers, and we also like promoted the shit out of each other because the Latino community is obviously a big part of Los Angeles, even though some people try to imagine that we're not. And so, and it's telling other people like, look, this is also happening. We're also here. And do you want to be friends with us? And it helped. It really did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There was Jackie last year, fellow fringer. She made a Sam cake for me. It was very kind. Yeah. And then the Fringe community, and she posted on TikTok, and someone found my show from her TikTok. And I was like, girl, what? Like, and I have a very robust LA theater community because I'm from here. So I was sharing it and I was sharing her stuff. So then my people went and saw her show. So here we are. Yeah, I'd say that was probably the biggest thing. Yeah, like other musicals we were posting about. A lot of social media, like sharing each other's shows on stories was a big one. A lot of my people came to Fringe Festival for the first time because they didn't even know. They're like, I live in LA, I didn't know about Fringe. And they came, and because I was posting about people's shows on my stories, they went and saw those shows. So yeah, very, very important. What was the other one? Oh, just at office hours, I had met Jenna, who was on the marketing panel, Ronald, and we we met, and she was like, let's do a joint preview, like workshop together of our shows. And I was like, okay. And so we went to PDA, donate to their crowdfunding campaign in Altadena. I was gonna say RIP, but I'm like, no, we're still holding up. Yeah. And I didn't know about PDA. I'm not part of the clown world, so that was new to me. So then we put on our shows as like a joint little workshop at PDA, and thank God, because I needed a deadline because my script was not written. So then we had that deadline, and I wrote the script, did it in hand with the script in hand. So thank God for her. So like that was a really cool thing that happened. So yeah, just kind of putting things out there. And I mean, yeah, Liza was like on it with all the open mics and cabarets and stuff. So yeah.
These are all such great recommendations because I think sometimes you can get stuck in your own bubble and it's hard to ask for help or it's hard to like put yourself out there, right? It's like you're suddenly like friend dating hundreds of new artists and it is scary to be like, hey, do you want to collab or do you want to do this thing? But I promise you there is not a more safe space to land than the fellow fringers. The people who are coming into this are just as scared as you are and nervous and have the same anxieties. So I love like use these examples and bake each other cakes. Like I love that. I feel like down like a cake. I think that is the lesson learned here. Okay, so let's kind of dive more into the marketing. So, and I think we jumped in a little bit about the outside audience, right? Because I think at Fringe, and I think you touched on it, Sam, really brilliantly, which is there is a shared audience. That is kind of one of the main goals of Fringe for the artist win is that you do share an audience because of cross promotion on social, but just the awareness, right? Every audience that you bring in is going to now know about Fringe and potentially see another show, the one that's happening right after, so on. So your audiences are going to be shared. And that's a beautiful thing because there's no such thing as too much theater, right? But let's talk outside audience because it is necessary to really unless your only goal is to fill it with fringers and just kind of build that community, then you're going to be fine living within the bubble. But if you want to sell out your house, if you want to make ticket sales, you do need to investigate what it looks like to market to an outside audience. So I want to focus in on that specific element now. And how do we figure out which audience is our audience? Because that's key. Especially if you have a tight budget, you need to focus your marketing where it's actually going to work to get audience into your show.
Sam Wilbreck, her Instagram is like a masterclass in marketing. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say, both of you. But what worked for me as someone who's like new to the marketing game was like, I take classes. So I was taking a stand-up class and I have like a stand-up community. And so like sharing with all those people, I'm spiritual. I'm in a law of attraction group that meets once a month. And so I was like, my musical's about trauma. I'm like not gonna share it with all these positive people. And like my whole of attraction group like showed up and were like so moved and like inspired. And it like opened up so many amazing conversations about spirituality and catharsis and theater. And so that was beautiful. Y'all, I was shameless. I think that's the beautiful thing about this Fringe is that it's like you put so much work into it and you're so busy, you kind of don't have time to get nervous or anxious. It's just like, I want you to come to my show, send in some text, doing some Facebook posts, here's a reel, you know what I mean? So it's like, I was like telling my dad's doctor friends to come. I was like, want to see a show about suicide? I'm curious about your perspective. And they did, and they really were moved. But yeah, I was talking about it. Oh, what do you do when I be in Ralph's? Oh, I'm going over to my show. So I just think using it as an opportunity to always be sharing your story and connecting with people worked for me. And I was getting people from like random bars that had seen me at an open mic and cried at my song that I sang and were coming to my, the one, So yeah, just sharing it everywhere, your class, your friends, asking people to share on your behalf. It's a great exercise in like allowing yourself to be like, I am worthy and my story is worth telling and I'm going to be shameless about it. Like if there's anything you get out of this, let it be an exercise to get out of your comfort zone. If anything, I would invite you to make that maybe a personal goal.
You would share shamelessly, right? So pretend it's not you if that's what you need to do. I'm someone. I have a hell of a time. It's so easy for me to to market Fringe. It's so easy for me to sell Fringe. Sell myself? Oh, fuck no. Like I can't. So if you need to like take yourself out of the equation and for a minute pretend it's someone else's show and just to like start to build that muscle.
Yeah, for sure. Like tap into your communities. That's one. So that there are not French communities. So for me, it was the Venezuelans, the Latinos, anyone who's in the clown world. Of course, I was like, you have to come. And then I was, yeah, same. Shameless is like gets you a long way, but it's just because it's not like, oh, look at me. It's more like this is amazing. I'm doing this. Like this is something that I believe in. I know people. Like I have one of my goals for my show specifically, and this is when like objectives come in. I don't know which one of like each one of your inside artists has like a goal for the reason why you're putting this work out there. So dust off or like build community or whatever. But my goal was to like say my Venezuelan story, which is like hardcore. And so like to me, it was like there's a major impulse that's like that comes from like having a sense of mission. And that sense of mission will take you to like promote. It will take you to like go to the events and it'll like make you shameless. So if your sense of mission is like to heal your inner child, it's totally valid. It's not like defending a full country, you know, like it's okay. But that inner child deserves for you to be like, come to my show, like, and see me. And you're scared, terrified. And once it's like, I'm terrified if there's 2 people in the audience, and I'm terrified as if it's sold out. Because if it's sold out, I'm like, oh, these people are here. Why? Like, so it sucks no matter what. So just like, might as well just see more people seeing you, you know, just. And so like, yeah, me too. I'm like, I couldn't whip posters and flyers fast enough. People are like, oh my God, you're so good at marketing. And it's just that I'm like, they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, it's just like a gun. I'm a cowboy with a gun. And that's how you have to be. But also like be tactful, because sometimes like the entire conversation is not just about that. If you're meeting people out in the world, you're trying to like make a real connection with them, especially if your show is about connection, which is mine. You're trying to make a real connection with them. So it's not just like you are a marketing piece in my big strategy. You know, it's like I'm talking to this human who may potentially enjoy something I really believe in, I have to say. So yeah, be shameless, but also tactful. Don't like be like, yeah, don't be like a character in Arrested Development about it. You know, like just be a real person, be a real human. It's a fine balance, but sometimes like I didn't sell out all of my run last year. I did 5 shows. A lot of my people had already gone to the show in the previews and then in the work in progress that I did at a different theater. So, but then you also trust word of mouth will happen. Shout out to other artists at the end of your show. Ask other artists to shout you out. If you're like, I'm low on sales tomorrow, can you please say my name at the end? And it's like, yeah, maybe Sam, I'll ask for the favor, you know, and then maybe Sam will be like, oh, go to Medicine Woman, you know. Oh, yeah, my show's name is Medicine Woman. To premiere this June. Yeah. Preview June 10th.
Always be marketing. Yeah. Wow. Yes. I mean, yeah. Just everything. Something that struck me when I was at office hours, I know we're talking about outside audience, but this also happened in my outside audience, was someone said, I'm coming to your show because how much you believe in your show. And I was like, oh. They're like, you believe in it so much? like, yeah, the like being shameless thing. You totally have to. And it kind of stunned me because I hadn't really thought about it like that, because also I didn't write my show until like, you guys, I don't even want to tell you. It was like the end of May. That workshop was like May 26th when I like literally like did my show for the first time. Just to give you some perspective. Anyway, it's like, don't do that. Don't do what I did. And I'm doing it again a year later. So I can actually like, yeah. Okay. So yeah. So a lot of people were like, I'm coming because you are out here. You are doing it. And again, like what lights you up? Like I was dressed in 70s attire. All of my like marketing is like, I made a theme song, Sam I Am theme song. So people are like, who is this chick? Like she's got a theme song, she's got an outfit, she's doing this whole thing. Like what's happening over there? And they see that, yeah, I'm being someone who's like, I'm sharing my story. You know, I just want to express myself to my community. Like, wow, okay. Like she's really going for it. She's really doing this. I want to see what's going on. So Yeah, I mean, everything you guys said was honestly spot on. I don't know if I have much. I'm like trying to think of other things to add. Community, people. I did want to add this. We're all so busy during Fringe, and we are doing our best to see each other's shows. If you can't see someone's show or someone can't see your show, it is okay. Okay. There was a moment where I was like, I feel like I'm getting a little guilt trip there, or I can't make it because I got COVID and had to cancel my opening weekend of shows. So I'm sorry. Couldn't make it. Anyway, it's fine and everyone's fine. But that was something that I just wear a mask the whole time. I literally got COVID and had to cancel my opening weekend of performances. It was really tough, but it's fine. It all worked out. So yeah, that's the last thing I'll say. Sorry, kind of a weird bit.
No, but I think, and this is part of festival expectations, right? Taking care of yourself. Do not take it lightly, y'all. I have been working with festival for this will be my 15th year, and I do things very differently now than I did the first few years. And I'm talking, do not eat out of a food truck every night. Make sure you're bringing snacks. Make sure you're drinking water. Make sure you're saying politely, no, I cannot take, if I can give any advice, it's take one day every week for you. Take that self-care, watch the Netflix, sleep for 15 hours, take a bath. I don't care what it is, but take a day where you are not coming to Fringe so that you can refill your cup, because it will help you as both the art that you're actually doing in your show, but just as a person, you can engage better when you take care of yourself, right? So definitely take care of yourself. Okay, we're going to switch gears over to press and industry. So we've kind of talked audience, how to sell those tickets, get those butts in the seats. But for those shows that are really looking to start to build the next chapter of their show, how did you successfully get members of press or industry into your show? Was it personal asks? Did the press release do you a lot of favors? Was it the Fringe site? Any tricks here to get people that are going to help you build your career, either in print or in post-Fringe opportunity to your shows?
Yes, something that was like so to apply to get them. And so those nebulous committee that just randomly went and saw people. And it's like, if you want people to see their show, you have to email them. So I just want everyone to know that, because I was noticing, wow, that people got reviewed. And oh, wow, all these people are getting articles in Broadway World. And I later, I think a couple months down the line, realized, oh, there's an email at the bottom of Broadway World. And that's a great way. And the good thing about that is now you have this little clip. And so non-Fringe people see this Broadway World, and that looks really great to people. It's these little things that in the world, it's good to be detached about those things, but we forget that on a post on Instagram of your thing written up in Broadway World looks really, really good. So I would explore and maybe make a list for yourself and a little Google Doc of a bunch of places. And then you have this cut and paste press release or something that you can just, and that can be a couple hours on a Sunday that you spend that time. So I just want to introduce that to people, because I didn't do that for some festivals, and I'm definitely that is part of my bullet point. If my mentee that I'm helping with her scholarship stuff, I'm let's get a list of emails and things you can get together for that.
Really great because it's specific, and then we'll keep going. But 100%, yeah, you have to make the personal asks, y'all. And just so you know kind of how Fringe operates within press and industry. So just like we talked a little bit earlier about how we have the Discover Fringe Industry program, we're working with industry to pull them in. Press is similar. We do register press. We reach out as a festival. So we're putting out press releases on an almost weekly basis once we hit mid-May to get press eyes on the festival at large. We cannot promote the individual show. So it's kind of that tiered system, right? We're making sure the press in LA is aware that Fringe is happening. We make it easy for them. We give them categories. We give them different pathways that they could go on an article, and then you have to make your show stand out. And that's what Liz is talking about with making those asks. So then when they get that email from us, they're going to go, oh wait, yeah, I got that email. I got that email about that show that looked really interesting. They're going to dig into their inbox. So you do need to make those personal asks. And then every once in a while, yeah, we do register press. Usually it's about 35, but it's LA. It's not like we have the LA Times coming to 45 shows. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to name that outright. But we do have that internal program.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get a press review early on from Stage Raw. This woman was so reluctant to come to the show and write the review, and you can read it, but she liked the show despite herself. So she was just because my show is very participatory, and if you come this June, you'll see it. But so I felt lucky. I was lucky, but not everyone that I reached out to came, because not everyone wants to on that time. And sometimes they just have a different schedule, and sometimes they don't care. It doesn't resonate with them for some reason. And you honestly don't want a reviewer that doesn't resonate with you sitting there with a fucking face. You just don't want that. It's just better to make your own little press note and post a little Instagram post that like looks amazing and cute and be your own sort of like advocate, then you'll get a bad review and you also won't want to post it. If that happens, I've seen amazing shows get bad reviews because the reviewer was in a bad mood and they had a weird show that day and that was it, so don't get too stressed. Reach out. Imagine what someone would look like at your show from the outside and see how they would like, what would it be appealing about the show for them to put in their publication? What is that publication? What do they usually like cover? Just put yourselves in their shoes because there are also people just going to shows and spending the Saturday night and getting maybe nannies for their kids. Yeah, they're not paid. So they're just people. So it's about finding your like match, your people. Check the publications, see if they resonate with you, see if they're covering shows that may be similar to something that you're interested in. And then those are your people more likely to come to you. And if you feel like your show is not fully ready or not there yet, don't worry about the press. Just worry about what you're trying to get out of this stage time and enjoy the fuck out of it. Cause like it goes by like this. And then the other part with like the press reviews is, yeah, sometimes it does get stressful if you see that other people start getting press reviews and you're not getting press reviews and you're like, oh my God. Don't worry. Just don't worry about it because word of mouth is like almost like it's king for the festival. So it's a matter of like, would other people who came to the show be willing to share? Oh my God. Like maybe, yeah, there's someone who like, I saw the show and I resonated with it, but I have a friend who will like absolutely need to see the show. And ask people to like help you with word of mouth. That's what I would say. It's just human connections, left and right, even with the reviewers.
Very true. I mean, yeah, I kind of touched this, but I think a lot of the thing I did get a lot of reviewers out. I will say, and I'm just gonna be honest. I know I'm sorry, but it's not. I'm sorry, but I'm saying that because my show was out there. Like everyone knew about my show. Like that was the number one thing that got all the things that came from it was being there, being out there, people knowing my name, being able to recognize like the marketing stuff. If you have anything for your show that you can use that is easily recognizable, that people can remember in their brains, that's what's going to help them say, oh yeah, what was that show? Oh yeah, the orange girl with the star glasses. Oh, Hollywood, Sam, that's right. And like that was essentially what happened. So with press and stuff, I mean, yeah, people were like, who's this Sam girl? So there were people who were like, let me go see and check it out. And I did go on the Hollywood Fringe site though, and I looked at the past years of Fringe and saw who is reviewing these shows. Yeah, I did. I didn't sleep. Again, I didn't sleep. So I was going through the shows that won awards the year before, the comedy shows, the musical shows, the solo shows, because that's what my show is, and saw who was reviewing those shows and who liked them and who did or whatever. And then made a spreadsheet and then emailed them. So that was a thing that was very helpful. I'm trying to think of what else. Oh yeah. Your audience is going to review your show and they are listed as certified reviewers on the Fringe site. You can put that on your poster. Like a certified reviewer left you a review. Like people outside audience don't know what that means. They just see that a certified reviewer came and saw your show. How exciting. Totally. Yeah. They don't even know it's your mom. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And it's very true where like any hype too is helpful. So yeah, the Broadway World article for Sam came out, like mid-May. So then it was like, wow, oh my God, Broadway World, that's so cool. And I'm trying to think of what other kinds of things. Press, reviews. Yeah, just getting yourself out there really, like that's going to be the number one. And asking people to write reviews because I'm now touring my show and I'm about to tour my show and I'm using all of these quotes from these audience reviews of people who loved it. They didn't expect it. It's, different people who saw it, who didn't know whatever. Yeah. So you can use those for anything, press things, awards. Yeah. Because it all matters. When people are picking a show, like
past Hollywood Fringe, like all the reviews I've gotten that are amazing in publications, I really was like, oh my God, they have eventually come to my show past the Hollywood Fringe. So it's about like, what are you thinking right now? Like, is it long term? Is it short term? Like for the Hollywood Fringe specifically, you can go spreadsheet. I'm not spreadsheet person. I start a spreadsheet and I delete it immediately. Like, it is my kryptonite, but it's good to have friends like this, because then you're like, oh my God, this exists, like this dimensions that I don't know about. But I am not that person. So like, but what I've done is I thought of longevity for my show past the Hollywood Fringe, and I have gotten amazing publications to talk about my show. Yeah, almost a year later. But that was my objective. So you have to think about like, how much do you want to like spend doing time doing press reviews versus like how much do you want to spend like creating your show? Like distribute your own like internal energy and just live the best experience you can without stressing about not doing enough with it. Like just be kind to yourself.
Yeah. One resource. BroadwayWorld.com is free. NoHoArtsDistrict.com is paid for reviews. You can do that. So just wanted to say that. I don't know.
I'm not forgetting that should be in the.
Yeah. So yeah, NoHo Arts, and there's promotional packages too. So it's like there's more than like just one review, but there's a lot of those like pay to play sites for reviews. Certainly, NoHo Arts does have a discount that they offer just to Fringers in the participant packet. So if you're looking for a deeply discounted rate compared to the rest of the year, they do offer Fringe specific opportunities to promote your show to the North Hollywood audience. We're going to work on spreadsheets this year, Veronica. I'm putting it on my list. So we're going to slightly shift because, Sam, you already touched on this brilliantly. But I want to talk about reviews because, yeah, at the end of the day, press is not going to be make it or break it, y'all. And I want to like really hit that home. Is it really cool? Sure. Is it like, I mean, I'm going to name even my own mom doesn't understand a bit about what I do. But if I'm on KTLA, she's like, oh my God, that's your daughter, right? Like, so I get it. Like they are important in some ways, but it's not going to make or break your show. It's not going to mean you get an award or don't. Press reviews have nothing to do with opportunity post-festival outside of grabbing that one-liner, which, again, can be grabbed from your audience reviews, which is what I want to kind of shift over to because those audience reviews are key, especially if you're looking to build a bigger brand to go on with your show elsewhere. I know that when you go to other Fringe festivals, just the single-run bookings, you need those reviews, not only to market your show, to put on the poster, to put on the postcard, but to understand your audience, too. I feel like reviews can really help you dissect how to market your show. Like, oh, that's what they got out of it? Hot fucking damn. I didn't even think to use that in my elevator pitch. So it will really help you form your marketing plan moving forward. So I want to talk about what were the ways that you garnered the reviews that you did? How did you push them to make sure you got them and what you did with them after? Naming from the Hollywood Fringe perspective, we send out an email directly after your show starts to every audience who booked through the Fringe site. So this is another reason where it is like your in-person box office is great and you should have that, but the Fringe site is working for you in more ways than just here's a ticket, checkout, done. It's also going to automatically send the audience an email to get them to review the show. But again, personal ask is everything. So how did you get reviews and what did you do with them after you had them?
Yes, reviews are great, helpful. So I think the three actionable things that come to my mind are like, when you are telling people people who previously bought tickets, you get to send them out address information, you get to send out a little like, hey, just let you know, we're starting in an hour. Or, hey, 3 days from now, we're going to have a show. Excited to see you. Yes. So when you're messaging your patrons, that's a great opportunity. Excited for you to experience the show. Reminder, please leave a review. That's a great opportunity. The second one is, yes, you do your bow, blah, 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 you thank your stage manager, and then, hey, thank you for coming. Please leave a review. That's like hot in their mind. And then I think the third thing that might be a fun idea for you is QR codes. Those are really easy. So they already have the show program. And then QR code is really great because as you're ending your show, you can say the QR code's already there. Just, record it and then leave a review when you can. So those are really great. And then how you can use them for the next run of your show as you prolong is we're consumers. We live in a consumer world, right? Why is it that like one soda pop, even though we know it's just a regular soda pop, is like, ooh, now it's on TikTok and people are promoting it and there's cool graphics and stuff. But it does work. Yeah, like my dad's a doctor, so he gets when I have a Canva and it has a cool review on it, or I was nominated for something, or you won an award, or to show all the different festivals that you've been a part of. It's really great and it's still really helpful. And you can go to Canva and all of a sudden now a still of you in an action shot singing with, this was a proudly transformative show. All of a sudden people are liking it and then you're getting traction and then you get a put that in your story and all of a sudden it's, look at this. So anything that can just kind of create momentum and energy around your show that makes people want to see it, like hype it up.
Yeah. Reviews, content. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. So I did ask everyone at the end, like, please leave a review. My strategy was, same. Pre-show, I kind of say it, but maybe not. Then in the show, for sure, at the end of the show, especially if I can see like it was a good show, they liked it, I'm like, please leave a review. And then afterwards, I'm like, thank you so much for coming. If you liked it, this really helps bring other people. So what I did with it after was kind of a Instagram carousel, like this is what people are saying. And it just feels like it's also like an eye opener because like people will describe your show in ways that you wouldn't describe your show. And you're like, what? And then you discover a little bit more how you can. There's other people out there who will like resonate with this description more than the description that you thought in your head. And that is the real. It's not whatever you think you're doing. People are receiving ultimately is what is real. So, but those words were given to me by the audience reviews.
And people want to, I don't know what the saying is, but people want to jump on a moving train or whatever. Like just having the momentum art, like, yeah, totally. So I prioritized getting reviews at the beginning of the run with audience reviews. I didn't have a director. So I was like, if anyone has any feedback, you can write it in your review. And they did. But it was actually very helpful and everyone was very, and it was, and yeah, there were things that I was doing this completely alone. So it was like, oh, I didn't even realize I was sitting on the ground and you in the back row couldn't see me. Someone wrote that in the review for my first preview and I was like, duh. So then I changed it and I moved to a seat and did that for the rest of the run. So that was really helpful. So yeah, those first few performances, which for previews, it's going to be a lot of fringers. And like, I had a lot of people in my personal life who thought the first preview was opening night. For some reason, my ticket things didn't have my previews listed as preview. They were just listed as performances. So a lot of people came the first night. So anyway, they were the easiest to convince. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, got it. So then that doesn't matter. But the people who came to those first shows, it was easiest to convince them to write reviews. And then I used those. And yeah, I made reels using my theme song, took the little, buzzwords, clips, and put them out there. Yeah. At Sam Lebeg on Instagram. Yeah, very important. People are very visual. Again, yeah, I want to jump on something that's already cool. People already think it's good. Okay, great. Then I definitely want to go see it. And yeah, using graphics, words, polls, what else? I feel like there's so much to say, but you guys have said so much. So yeah, if anything comes up.
Yeah, and also it's good for the future, for longevity. In the future, you'll use it. I use some of my audience reviews for my press release that I use for Edinburgh Fringe, which helped me get another reviewer in Edinburgh Fringe, which helped me get some crowd in, etc. Snowballs. So yeah.
Yes, I'm crowdfunding for my tour right now, and I'm pulling from the reviews that say this show was so inspiring because it's pulling at the heartstrings or whatever. And that was something I didn't realize. Oh, my show is heartfelt, heartwarming, inspiring. I didn't realize, and that's helpful for that too.
So like the world is your oyster on this one, y'all. And no, so yeah, just to previews, because it is confusing, right? So we advertise, so it comes more down to advertising. We advertise the preview dates 5 through 10, and then the initial opening, because that's a way we push press into the festival early or into the previews because we want that word of mouth, right? So it's more about like part of the goal setting. That's what preview week is. But we have shows that just, it's as far as they're concerned, preview is opening night, doesn't matter to them. And then we have shows that during the middle of the run, this is my preview. Like it really is entirely up to you. Just know how the festival separates it out is like when we're pushing people and how we're selling it to also, because press does know they go to previews for a reason because the review is worthless at the end of the festival for at least a period of time, right? It's not worthless, but it's certainly less helpful. So we want people to come early. So that's why we use that language. And then it also puts audience into a certain headspace of what they're seeing, which is never a bad thing, right? Like you're coming to a preview, you know what that means versus I'm coming to closing night. That's a very different experience. So I'm going to jump over to awards for a minute, because all of you can talk about this. And with awards, I always think of, so I want to preface, it's of course actual awards you want at the festival, but also any opportunity that happened because of something that happened at the festival. Because again, awards, there's only a small, some 15 or so like opportunity awards within the Fringe or Discover Fringe industry program, but I have seen so many more things happen that were full opportunities well outside of the scope of our awards. So prefacing that, but how did the three of you approach awards? Did you strategize on how you wanted to, like, did you want to win awards? Was that even a part of like your journey? Or was it, oh shit, like there's awards, I guess I'll apply for one. So what was kind of your game plan going into awards?
Probably short and sweet on this one. I was one of those when awards came by, I was like, I didn't really apply to them. And it was also my fifth festival. So I was like, I don't know where I want to take this show. I also added a band. So this previously solo musical, I was like, I don't know if I can apply to these solo, like it became kind of this confusing thing. But I think they're an incredible opportunity. And I think what's beautiful is I was nominated for 2 anyway. So that was really powerful that I just went and I made my focus sharing my story and transforming the stigma of mental health. And then this kind of cool byproduct was some people were moved and it got nominated. And I'm excited to be more calculated about creating a structure to apply to them and it be this exciting thing now in the aftermath of realizing what that experience was. But I'm just going to be totally honest, halfway through the festival on my 7th show, I was like, y'all, I'm tired.
Yeah, because you bring up a great point. Kind of you have to know your show. Like we're talking about artistically marketing, right? You have to know your show to market your show, but you also have to know your show to sell your show to that next booking, to that tour, because it is like you're talking about a live band. That is hella hard to, in a low budget touring circuit, that is damn near impossible for a booker to say yes to, because think about how many flights that is. Think about how much accommodation is needed on top of you need a certain sized venue to like house that. So know that depending on the size of your show, that might be a struggle because we currently, I hope this is not a shock to anyone, but we don't live in a great artistic economy. And which means like people are doing low budget tours. That is kind of what's happening right now. Our exchange award tours, for example, we partner with Adelaide, which Radhika, I'm sure we'll talk about next, but Adelaide, Sydney, Denver, and Catania off. These are festivals around the world that we do an exchange with. So 4 shows from this year will win, free, it's like usually billeting, but definitely free venue space, free registration. So kind of like a much, much, much cheaper way to tour their show to that festival. And then we do it in return. But it's all in kind. Like none of us can afford to give someone a hotel room for 2 weeks. So it's like, hey, here's some billeting possibilities with friends of the community. Here's a venue that I have sweet talked a venue into giving up for free. Like these are how people are touring right now. So yeah, we can't always do a full band, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I think at the beginning of me creating the show, I set a goal for myself. Regardless of Fringe, I didn't do it specifically for the Hollywood Fringe, and this goal determined the award. What happened later with the awards. For me, it was like I want an evergreen international show. So, but I have specific goal because it's like there's no way a delegation from my country of Venezuela to go out into the world and represent us. It has to be someone with already some sort of means or outside of the country. So I registered as an international show because my entire team is Venezuelan except for Natasha. And I just wanted to make sure that Venezuela was represented because otherwise there was never going to be an international delegation from my country. It was major for me. And because at the time I was also traveling the world, my brother lives in Belgium. The Venezuelan diaspora means that I have people everywhere in the world. I knew I wanted to travel to as many spots as possible because I was going to see everyone I love. So I have hidden motives to be international. And I also am traveling all the time. So I knew it needed to be just me. So those 3 were big part of the awards I applied to, which were I got nominated for 6 awards, which is crazy. And I won 3 of those. Yay. I was so happy. Thank you. The beauty of it was I just want to travel the world. I just want to bring Venezuelan message to the world. But that was something that was in my heart. And I was rewarded that way and honored to get the Adelaide Fringe and the Italia Fringe, which I'm going to in October with my newborn, hopefully. I'm excited. My brother to come help me. But so the way I set my goals for a very deep personal reason. And the only reason I applied to these awards was Adelaide, I put the money up front. So don't apply to awards that are well beyond your means because you're just going to torture yourself and eventually you're just going to say, I cannot do this. I had a cushion of I put money aside to do this, and I knew I was going to do it. I mean, Adelaide paid me back eventually with the award of the best awards out there, but I had a budget for it. So that I set aside. So you don't know these things. Yeah. Yeah. So I have a reason to go to Australia. I have friends in Australia that I made in clown school when I went to France. I have ulterior motives basically to go do these other things that took me there. Otherwise I wouldn't have applied for those awards. Then for the Italy, I have family there as well. So I was like, yeah, I want to apply for this. And then I received it and I was like, yes. But it was never like, because I have friends who were like, I want to see if I can do the same venue you did last year because I won the same Adelaide award that you got that last year. And I'm like, well, my show is like, I'm a traveler medicine woman who gets off her carriage in a town and heals that one night only. And that's the premise of my show. So it just makes sense to travel the world with it. But I have another show where I like find a spouse in the audience, and I'm going to do like also pregnant. And I'm not doing it at the Fringe, but I don't want to take that specific show around the world. So you just need to know yourself and what you're going after. One of the people I was like aiming for was the Soho Theater show. And he came to my show, loved the show, made him laugh. We connected after, and I wasn't nominated for that one. And I think they have their goals. And I can see how my show doesn't match that. And it's okay because now I've made a connection and it's beautiful. And then eventually I will have a show that perhaps will match that. But I'm not gunning for that only, like it just let yourselves be surprised because you don't know. And if it doesn't happen that way, it's also like, you need to know with yourself what you're doing. That's basically what needs to be happening.
And you never know what that is. And hell, sometimes they don't know what that is until it's happening. So recognizing with awards, it's just like any audition. You have no idea. You could be the most talented person in the room. It doesn't mean you're getting that award.
Yeah. And also, I wanted to make my show so it was like intimate because I'm healing people and touching people. That said, I'm doing it at the Broadwater main stage, which is crazy because I've already done. Everyone has seen already the show. It has changed. With my travels, I've changed. The world, like if you saw the show, oh my God. If you have if you have seen the show, no, you haven't because it's changed with my travels. But I wanted always an intimate setting, like so. But I just find it funny, but that I did this year. I think it's just the baby is making me do things. But I'm open. I'm open to it being like weird, I'm open to it being weird, and I'm open to a jury seeing me go through weird. And that's part of the clown challenge in a little bit, like I think actors don't put themselves in those places. Maybe that way. I think clowns are like, oh, jumping. So, but I know this year is going to be different, but I still want to travel the world, even if I have a baby. Like Adelaide winner, top of the Adelaide show was a mom that traveled with a 6-month-old baby. And that just comes to show like, there's no limits. Everything can come from anywhere. You just don't know. So stay open and be true to yourself because that's how you'll be honest with what you're applying for.
Yeah, it's true. So awards were not part of my show goals going into it. And I did 9 performances. So I sold like 300 tickets, which automatically is going to put me at a high point of how many people know about my show. So let's see. The industry awards, I didn't know about because I got COVID and I missed that workshop. So I just didn't apply to a single one, and they will not take you after the deadline. They will not take you after the deadline, which is fine because again, they got their own goals and they got things going on. So I didn't go out for any of those awards. The Fringe Festival Awards, I was nominated for Best Solo Show and Best World Premiere because, again, they're voted on by the community. So people knew about my show, so they voted on it. The Best of Venue Awards, I don't know what's going on this year. I know last year it was kind of all over the place where some venues were doing it, some weren't. It's venues who, I don't know if that's happening.
Yeah. So with things have changed slightly starting this last year. And this is individual venues do all sorts of things outside of Fringe that we have no part in. But starting this year, the Fringe site will not be used for any shows post June, just because the Fringe has to end at some point is what it comes down to. The Fringe is a festival. And so after June, 29th, our last day, there won't be any like official Fringe like supported or promoted extension shows. That doesn't mean that they won't happen at individual venues or in your own like lanes. Because again, you're going to be connecting with people and booking new runs and all of this, but it's not going to be under the Fringe umbrella, essentially.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, I'm mentioning these because my show, it did get 2 like best of venue awards. And that's all fine. That's all good. And they're on my poster. And yeah, people want to see that. And that's, great. But I mentioned all this because if I'm being so honest, like there was a tone shift in the festival when awards came around. I'm going to be so just like real about this because we love each other and we're a community. And if you see my show, I actually have a bit about this in my show where it's like, finally, I'm an actor. And my goal is to win an award that shows all the other actors that I'm the best actor out of all the actors that have ever acted in the world. And that's the point of art. That's the point of being an actor. And no, of course it's not. Of course it's not. Like, we're here to do the art. We're here in a festival to be a part of a festival. We're here to be in a community to be a part of a community. And so I just mentioned this because it was a little tough because, some people got nominated and some people didn't. Some people wanted to win and then they didn't. I didn't win and I felt like there was weirdness about the fact that I didn't win. I'm like, you guys, it doesn't, like, it's okay. It like, this actually has no bearing on you and your show and what you are here to do in this world. So I just want to put that out there because yes, it is great to get awards, but you can also use your reviews and you can also use literally anything. Make your marketing out of anything. People want to be touched. People want to be excited. So it's all good. So yeah. And I think that's it. Yeah.
Like, you're doing a tour not based on awards. You're doing a tour based on the fact that you're deciding to contact venues and you have reviews and you decided to do it. So like, that is what you want to do. I'm touring around and the awards have facilitated that to me, but I was probably going to do it anyway, just the harder way. The awards were like a nice, like, oh yeah. And then I get to bring my message to the world because that's a goal inside of the deepness of my heart. It was going to probably happen anyway. So just remember what your goal is inside your heart. The awards are nice, but what is it that you're trying to do deep inside of yourself?
Yeah, because it doesn't take away what you did. It doesn't change the importance of the art, nor who needs to see it. Because I think that's so key, right? At the end of the day, the only thing you should be able or should be walking out of Fringe with is having the ability to be a producer, which is, if you like, speaking frankly, is that award of being able to continue your show. The awards, like, I look at it like, yeah, there's only going to be a handful of people who walk away with, especially an opportunity award, because the Fringe Community Awards, it's a cute laurel, but it's not like it's going to give you anything that is tangible, that is going to take your career to the next level. The awards are a short pathway to get like something, but if anything, I think the awards should give you an idea of what's possible. Like, oh shit, I didn't know I could tour to other, Fringe festivals. Oh shit, the Soho Playhouse works with a lot of LA actors. Fantastic. Now they're on my radar. Look at it as a jumping off point, because at the end of the day, what you're walking away with is the ability to push down the fucking gates, put your show out there, and share it with the world. So the awards, let them be what they are. But yeah.
I was like, when I got the awards, I was so relieved because I knew I was going to put a lot of money down to like do Edinburgh Fringe. And I was like, thank you, God. Because now I have a way to like market myself in this other place that I don't know. And turns out everyone kind of laughed at my face at my awards. And it's not in a bad way. It's just like, there's 3,000 shows. Everyone's promoting, and there's big names already in the UK, Scotland, and Ireland, and I am not one of them. And the Hollywood Fringe to them is like, oh yeah, that's it. And it's no shade to this specific festival, but they could not care less. So you could bring all your laurels, and they're like, cool, I'm busy at midnight. Like, you're in a cave at midnight. So like, it just didn't matter as much as you think. But it could be it could be a nice thing. Even if they nominated, you can put a laurel. I saw in Edinburgh Fringe, people put laurels for awards that were just made up and fake.
Both of them.
Yeah, that was just so funny. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, we all just learned that the Academy now has to watch all of the movies before they vote for them. Like, that's the point, like, yeah, like it's all great, it's all good, but at the end of the day, none of it matters. And it's just like, just do you. Yeah.
And 100%, because the award requirement for community voting, you have to see 3 shows. And yeah, we tell people, please don't vote on things you haven't seen. Don't just fill the categories, because you can leave a category blank if you haven't seen solo show, what have you. But we have no control. We have, audience is 60,000 people. So recognizing too, like it's shit. Like we do our best to control an uncontrollable world. Here we are. But I will say with the laurels, because yeah, you're right, you can slap it. I've seen it, but I will, note of caution, all of the Fringe festivals, especially, we talk, we know each other, we hang out on a regular basis, and we do check in when a touring show, hey, oh my God, I know, like, Veronica's coming to us from Hollywood Fringe. Do you know anything about her? Do you know anything about the show? She won X award. And if it's a award I've never heard of that we don't have, I'm going to be honest with that festival, right? Of course, Veronica would never do this, but like, I just want to preface that, like, yeah, like, of course you can, like, an award you can slap on anything with a Canva file. But know that like the community is well aware of each other, and they do ask, and we do find out things that maybe you don't want us to. So keep that in mind, because a lot of festivals are juried and will say no.
All the fake laurels I saw were funny jokes. They were good, but what does that do visually to like a passerby who's not really reading? Is like, oh, they just see laurels and they're like, I'll go see it, So like some people eat that. Especially if they're not festival goers. Like me as a festival goer, I'll stop to read what laurel it is, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know about this random award, but like now I know. Interesting. I wonder what this person is doing. But some just people from the city, they're just gonna choose what they're gonna choose.
All right, y'all. We want to make sure we have time for questions. I'm going to ask one last question, and let's try to keep it a little bit short so we have time for questions. I know it's not going to happen. I'm speaking to myself too. I'm a talker. So I'm a big fan of the whoopsie daisies. I love like sharing hurdles or struggles or things you wish you had done better, because I think as much as we can like tout, like this is all the things I did right, we learn better when we talk about the things we did poorly. So could you each share something that you wish that you had known going into last year's festival, or something you did and you're like, fuck, I'll never do that again?
Yes. Oh, you want me to keep this short? You said it. No, I just generally, I wish I had read the participant packet. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. I wish I had. I know. I wish I had taken. No, you guys, I'm being so I just wish I had taken a second to like look over dates, look over when things like at the top, not week by week. Because the thing is, if I had a really busy week and then I got this email for Roddy that's like 12 things I have to look at, and I'm like, I'm already in a mental health spiral. I have to go sing about like my dead family. Like I can't apply for awards right now, So I just wish that I actually pushed my musical I was going to debut this year to next year, because I'm like, this whole frantic Gemini flying by the seat of my pants energy is genuinely not fun anymore. So we're going to like enjoy a year of like gearing up for the festivals and putting my show on, because like honestly, what's the rest? But I would genuinely do that if I could do this. And I'm telling this with my mentee too, is just, if we know awards are going to be due in a couple weeks, like don't wait until like the day before to like do it. It sounds so obvious. And a lot of us still got good grades like doing this behavior, which has created me as an adult. But do yourself the favor to look over those awards, because it is more than just an award. It could be an opportunity to travel to Italy, and there's things like that. And then I wish I had gone to more workshops, because I wasn't like editing my script. So yeah, I just wish in general I'd allowed myself to be more prepared. And if there is a period to be more stressed, the beginning of the festival, like May, like I would rather stress out and lose sleep May and then take care of myself and have things be really leisurely in June. Like give yourself the stress out of missing some friend stuff in May to go really hard in June.
I think same. I'm also Gemini flying, and like I do what I can the day of. No prep. It's hardcore. It's the clown way should not translate to the producer way. I was like, I didn't mean to, yeah, it's confusing. I only applied on the deadline for the awards because my friend Mel, who is coming from Adelaide as the award winner from Adelaide, was like, apply for the awards. And she did for a full week. And I kept being like, yeah. And then deadline. And then look, it yielded some results, but I didn't have her. I don't know. So if you don't have someone, so like, yeah, listen to this. I will try to do this. what you did this festival, because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing it pregnant. It doesn't, but no, I care. So I'm going to try to spend this next 2 weeks of May getting a little more of Sam energy in me and less of like the chaotic Gemini energy. But it's also okay, Oh, it's okay. Like the LGBTQ 30 people looks very juicy, like a good audience. The 99 30 people can look empty. It looks less juicy, so I like just try to. I'm telling it to you, and I'm saying it to me early.
Oh yeah, I need to read that.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's a vibe though. Like okay. Well, here, let me start. Okay. First off, don't get COVID. Like wear your mask. That's like the first thing. And then, yeah, sleep, get some sleep. And on top of all this, let's see. I already said I literally didn't write my show until like a couple weeks before. Like I was working on it, but not as much as I should have. So get your show stuff done as soon as possible because May comes around and it's time to sell. And then June comes around, you're doing it. So right now, like get as much done with your show as possible. I really wish I had done that. I was a bad fringer in that sense, like with the show, because like doing tech was stressful. I was like, can I add a line? They're like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. And I actually literally wrote improvised sequences into my show because I was like, I didn't have time to write this. But it turned out great. It's very happy, beautiful thing. So yeah, work on your show. Make sure it's really great as soon as possible because you're not going to have time to do it later. If you're a solo show, carve out time to rehearse it. Like you need time to rehearse it. I also might be a special case, meaning that I was doing it all alone. So I didn't have a director. I didn't have a producer. I didn't have anybody. It was literally just me all alone. So I would say get support, like have people around you, get a director, I hired a box office manager and then I had a pianist and I had a stagehand. So there are people with me on the actual performance dates, but it did get to a point towards the end where I called my box office manager. I was like, can we just do I was like crying. Can we just do like a 15-minute check-in like once a week? That would be really great. And she was like, girl, what? Are you okay? And then she was like, became my emotional support person because also I was like single and living alone. And like it could be doing a solo show could be kind of just very intense and like solitary. So yeah, have support, take help, ask for help. And yeah, if you can plan in advance. Like I have ADHD, so I was getting the dopamine from doing the Fringe tasks. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll send this deadline, done. But then the things that there's no incentive to finish my script by a certain date. So I didn't. So yeah, I mean,
No, this is so great, y'all. And I think, and are you going to have everything ready to go in June? No, of course not. And it's okay. But I think like if we can end anything on it, like or end with any advice, it is grab a buddy. And I think I'm trying to remember. I think it was Sam Bowling in one of our workshops in the pre-season, golden retrievers. Like in our hearts, we want to help, just know how. And so I was like that. I'm getting straight up already, and I was like, that's so fucking true. At the end of the day, we want to help, but sometimes we need specifics. What do you need? What is going to make? So we're getting 15. I need a 15-minute phone call because people want to say yes. You have people in your lives outside of Fringe. You're meeting people in Fringe. Find that buddy, even if it's just. I mean, Ellen and I co-run a festival for a reason. This is nothing should be alone because you need someone to share the weight, to share, the excitement and the pitfalls. And sometimes that just means another show that you meet up for coffee every Wednesday. And so it doesn't have to be like a team that you hire because who has the money? I mean, not many of us have the money to hire huge teams, right? So maybe it's a coffee date every Wednesday with a fellow solo show that is doing the same thing you are. And it's just like, we're just going to work together. Today, we're going to work on awards together. Cool. Great. So anyway, y'all, thank you. We're going to do questions now. We do have something a little different. So today we don't have all of the mics, as you can see. So I'm going to have people just raise their hand. We're going to go old school. Raise your hand. Let us know your name and the name of your show because we're marketing, right? We're always be marketing. And then I'm going to repeat the question so the live stream can hear. Sound like a plan? Okay, let's do it. I see a hand here. Yes. You can, please. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I work that I wanted. And I did there, and there. If anybody that they have anyway, yes, that what that is like. Always.
Yeah. I'm going to start with just the first question and then hand it off for the second, if that works for everyone. So the question is where to find on the site past reviews from award winners or other shows in past years so you can see what press reviewed them. And so we'll start there and then I'll ask the other question if I've forgotten it already. So yeah, really quickly, all of our site is a hoarder. Literally every show can be viewed on our site. You just have to search it and then you can click on that show because as you'll see on your shows, you have a tab that says reviews, right? Those are public. So that's also another marketing tool. People are on the site and I'm telling you, or like back before I was in the position I am now, I was reading reviews to decide what shows to see. So regular audience members are looking at those reviews. And so that is also where you can see any press reviews. Will all press post on the Fringe site? No. So sometimes it's just a matter of Google Hollywood Fringe and then certain publications and seeing what pops up because God bless Google, it has everything. But that's how you do it on the Fringe site. And then we have blogs. So you can also Google like Hollywood Fringe Awards and find the names of shows that way. We find those shows that way when we're like trying to look back for other articles because it's so hard to find them on the site. So just Google whatever you're looking for, Hollywood Fringe Festival, and then throw a date in there and you'll be golden. And then the second question was, how do you go about reaching out to press? Right. And I think, my recommendation was holding aside comps ahead of time just to make sure you're not selling out and then having to kick people out of your seats because that's not what you want. So like hold a few, especially in the later end of the festival where that's when award judges come, but you don't necessarily have to hold like half the house. And then I'll let who wants to answer how to reach out to press.
Yeah. In terms of like your communication with them, it's Fringe. Everyone kind of understands what the modus operandus is of it. And so it really comes down to like their availability if they want to see your show. Purely emailing them. Links are really great, right? I'm sure with your press release, having like links to your show, visuals, clips, if it's a musical or whatever you're doing, stand up and stuff is really great. But just one thing I've noticed from helping future people like with Fringe stuff is these long-winded requests. I just want to say in general, now that I'm starting to do more stuff on the other side of the table and have to audition people and help people, getting like a bit, it's like when we're really busy getting a whole thing. Thank you so much. No, you're so extremely busy, and all the other work, and and this is my show, and this is the metaphorical interpretation of this exercise. And it's just like, what's the request? And so just when you're doing that, concise doesn't mean mean. As like theater people, there's like an apologetic nature we have. We'll make these to the point. Actually, it makes you appear as someone who is respectful of their time and understands how to put something concise together. Like one thing I feel could actually make like a little difference that I want to contribute is I'm just seeing people put these long-winded things. And it's like, if it's just a comp, they get what the deal is. Tell them about your show, make the request, be kind about it. Boom. Like that's going to be like, yes, thank you. Can I make it? Boom. I'm there. But a lot of people, it's like, oh, two-page requests.
No, it's not rude. It's considerate. You're considering the fact that they are doing so much. That's all I was going to say. And reach out a couple weeks earlier. I don't think you need to do it like a month in advance. Maybe some people are organized that way, but then you're going to have to like hit them up again, probably.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the only thing to add is like, there are reviewers who do Hollywood Fringe, like, and they're going to come like see your Fringe show. Outside reviewers, I emailed a bunch of outside reviewers and no one came. It just was what it was. I mean, if you have maybe some really big real world like credits or something that would get people from outside, then that, can help. But being part of the festival, there are a lot of shows. So if they don't know you, lots of people, you just don't know. So yeah.
Right, it's hit or miss. The press game in LA just keeps getting worse. Every year I'm like, maybe next year. No, it's shit. And so, but occasionally, so also check your emails. As much as like you're sending these out, check your emails starting once tickets go on sale because you never know. Even like because we're working with some larger press publications because sometimes like we're giving them an inside scoop into here's the program and then they're highlighting 10 shows in a category, that sort of thing. And if they're reaching out or we're reaching out on their behalf and you miss that email, well, there goes that opportunity. Usually it's a quick turnaround. We'll get press requests and we have to be there 24 hours later on, set at like whatever, like box 11 at 9 a.m. And there's no yes or no, I'm not sure yet. It's like, go. So yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
I feel so excited to answer your question because I had the exact same schedule. I had like a preview on the 5th or 6th, and then my next show was on the 17th. And what I end up like loving was while everyone else was kind of freaking out about their previews and having all this stuff, I was just going to everyone's shows for like 2 weeks. Yeah. And what was great is I'm going to shows and meanwhile get people to my shows the whole 3 weeks. So like that was great. So go to as many shows as possible, go to office hours. And then I don't know if there's like a group chat that's been